Good morning, everyone. So, before we begin, I'd like to ask you several questions. If you see your screen right now, I'm going to show you several pictures here. How would you how would it make you feel if you see these things on top of your table? Or how would it make you feel if you're caught up in a heavy traffic, especially now that you've just um, you are just asked to go to school, and now traffic is back also. So how would it make you feel? How about if you've been scammed? How will that make you feel? No? Or if you are asking someone important to you, how are you, and you have just been scene zoned, how will that make you feel? Okay. By the way, these scenarios that I've shown you are actually natural events that may actually affect our well-being in mental health. Okay, so perhaps the way you deal with these scenarios, with these situations, depend also on your mental health. All right. Now, before we begin with our discussion, I'd like you to take the self-assessment, the well-being self-assessment. Just copy the link that I've shown in your screen right now. So that's https:// and then just type tinurl.com/YYN4UUD3. Okay, take that assessment, and I modified it using the assessment is going. You are going to assess if using the Facebook emojis. Okay, so examples of the emojis are. Okay, let me check. What are those emojis? Okay, so here, this is your self-assessment about your well-being assessment. So first, of course, type your full name. Don't you worry, because I'm not going to share your responses to your classmates, so you don't need to worry about that. So the responses using Facebook emojis, maybe you hit the like icon, or the heart, or the care, or laugh, or wow, or sad, or anger. So just use these emojis. The first question is, it's asking about you identify which face comes closest to how you feel today. So how do you feel today? Is it more of the like, heart, care, laugh, wow, or sad, or anger? So just respond to each question depending on how you feel today. And the next question is, identify which face comes closest to how you feel about your abilities and skills. Okay, and then identify which face comes closest to how you feel about being a student, and identify which face comes closest to how you feel about your friends or barkada. Okay, and identify which face comes closest to how you feel about your family. Also identify which face comes closest to how you feel about your love life, for those na mga love life karon. Okay. Identify which face comes closest to how you feel about yourself. All right, go ahead. Type your responses. All right. So I'm going to record your responses as part of your activity for today, and that will also serve as your attendance. All right. Now, so that assessment that I've shown you is actually checking different areas of your life. If you notice, there's question asking about yourself, question asking about your family, your friends, and your skills and abilities, and so on. Okay, so this is what these areas are what contribute to your well-being. Okay, because today our learning goals are the following. You are going to interpret the concepts of mental health and psychological well-being in everyday observation. You are going to identify causes and effect of stress in your life, and you are going to demonstrate, or you'll be able to demonstrate personal ways to cope with stress and maintain mental health. Okay, so somehow the topic we are going to discuss today is related to the previous topic we discussed last meeting, which was about how stress, coping with stress and challenges. All right, now the first question is, what is mental health? And or what is well-being? What's the difference between mental health and well-being? Okay, so I think I've given you an activity. It's already in Canvas, so just go ahead, access your Canvas right now, and answer the activity. And there is also a video I posted in there where you can see how people view mental health. Okay. All right. So let's define mental health right now. So when we say mental health, there are actually factors that we are going to consider. The first one is the emotional or the experience. What are the usual emotion that you experience every day? Do you generally experience happiness, motivated, okay, or proud? So what kind of emotion generally do you experience every day? Or the next factor that we also talk about is called psychological or the quality of thoughts. What do you normally think about? Okay, is it mostly negative? Are you thinking mostly about negative things, negative factors, like uh, I'm not enough, something like that? What's the quality of your thought? Thinking about I'm going to fail. Are those the kind of thoughts that you experience, that you think about every day, generally every day? Or you're a person with a nice quality of thoughts, like I'm going to be better today, I'm going to pass all my assignments today, I'm good enough, somewhat like that. Okay, so that's the psychological or the quality of thoughts. The next factor that we're going to talk about, if we talk when every time we talk about mental health, is relational or the social relationship. So how's your relationship with the people around you? That also contributes to your mental health. Okay, so that's relational. What is the quality of your friendship? What's the quality of the relationship within your family? The quality of relationship between you and your friends, your neighbors. Okay, so these contribute to mental health. Are you getting me? Now, when we talk about well-being, basically well-being is a measure of our mental health. Okay, so if you were to ask, what is your mental health? Basically, I'm asking about your well-being, because that's the measure of your mental health. That's how good your mental health is, or how bad it is, or is it just in an average level? So that's your well-being. Okay, are you getting me? All right. Now, part of our lesson today is we're going to talk about common mental health problems or among adolescents. Okay, so what are those mental health problems? Let's talk about eating disorders. Okay, why? Because adolescents, because a lot of teenagers are very conscious with how they look. I don't know if you agree with me, but yeah, eating disorder could be one of the um, problems during adolescence. So when we say disorder, basically, if you change something that's normal, that's already a disorder, and if that impairs, if that changes the normal function, that's already a disorder. So when we say eating disorder, this is characterized by persistent disturbance of eating that result in altered consumption or absorption of food and significantly impair physical health and psychological functioning. So, but basically, you altered, either you eat a lot or you eat too little, and that becomes a disorder. What did I say about it? When will it become a disorder? If there's a significant change, okay, from normal eating that you eat like one plate of or half plate of rice, now you just eat too little, maybe half of spoon na rice, okay, or you eat too many lamput, okay, so that's why it's called it becomes eating disorder. But when we say eating disorder, there are actually three types: binge eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa. Let's talk about these each one of them. Let's begin with anorexia nervosa. When we say anorexia, it is intense fear of gaining weight, disturbed body image, refusal to maintain normal body weight, and dangerous measure to lose weight. Okay, so take note of this. If a person has anorexia, there's disturbed body image. That means he or she is not seeing the real self, the real body image. Every time he or she faces in the mirror, ang iyang makita is a fat body. But in reality, this person's body is too thin already. Okay, so that's one of the indicators when a person is having anorexia nervosa. And this is characterized by anxiety because of the fear of gaining weight. Okay, why? It's because this person wants to present himself or herself to the people around him or her to be like a perfect figure. That's why they want to be so thin. Okay, so that's an example of anorexia nervosa. Now, the next problem is called bulimia nervosa. Okay, similar to anorexia, bulimia is still characterized by anxiety. Okay, still characterized by anxiety. However, in bulimia, this involves overeating and is followed by efforts to induce vomiting, fasting, and excessive exercise. So this person likes to eat, however, dili siya ganahan mo dako. That's the reason why after mukhaon siya, iyang i-first nga i-purge niya ang food. Iyang tuslokon niya ng lingagnag para mo vomit. Okay? Or after excessive eating, mag-fasting siya for how many days? Or maybe instead nga 1 hour lang mo spend sa gym, is mag-spend na siya 2 to 3 hours or 4 hours just to lose weight because of that tungod kay nag-overeating siya. And once again, let me reiterate this, because of anxiety. The person wants to look good to other people, the people around him or her. That's why naa siya problema about eating. Okay? So that's bulimia. Now, I hope you understand the difference between bulimia and anorexia nervosa. Let's proceed to the third eating disorder. This is called binge eating disorder. So when you say binge eating, this involves overeating without worrying about excessive exercising, vomiting, or fasting. So kaon lang ng kaon, di ba? Who can relate this here? And actually, the fact is, for people with binge eating disorder, they like to eat unhealthy foods. They don't like vegetables. Di ba? All right, so that is the problem. Okay, next. Let's talk about anxiety disorder because this is very also common to people, to adolescents. When we say anxiety, this includes phobia, phobic disorder, panic, obsessive compulsive disorder, and these characterized by fear, anxiety, and related behavioral disturbances. Let's take a look at each one of them. So when we say phobic, specific, we say phobia, fear of something. Fear of height, fear of snakes, fear of cats, dogs, or whatever. Different kinds of phobia. When we say, if there's panic disorder, bisan paggamay kaayo ang cause, because this person is overthinking, naana siya mga manifestations of panic, like mag-palpitate, mag-shaking, okay, or mag-cry siya, or dili na siya kaginhawa. That's panic disorder. And it becomes disorder because it already disturb the normal function of a person. Okay, obsessive compulsive disorder. Kaning obsessive compulsive. Have you seen a person nga grabe kayo arrange tanan ang butang sa iyang bag inside his bag or her bag? Okay, or kanang a person nga dili siya mahamutang kung kaning pencil dili siya ma-align. Okay, so why is it called obsessive? Because there's an intrusive thought in their mind that they cannot dili nila ma-stop that intrusive thought na dapat din mo na siyang i-arrange. And then the compulsive here is the ritual of doing it. Another example of OCD is, for example, a person has germophobia. Okay, so every time makagunit sila og coin, kay they think nga naanay germ ang coin. So alam buhaton magwash sila og alcohol silang hand. However, because there's obsessive compulsive disorder, na mga intrusive thoughts ilang mind nga hugaw pagyapon imong kamot. That's why they will have to wash their hand over and over. Okay, so there's a thought nga nag-ingon nila nga napaka germ, and then the compulsion there is the ritual of doing the washing of hands with alcohol. That's why those with the sige wash of alcohol mag-dry ilang hand na yung mga side effects. Okay, so are you getting me? So that is obsessive compulsive disorder. So here are the descriptions. Now we are going to talk about major depressive disorders as well. Okay. By the way, before we proceed, I would like to inform everyone that this, when we talk about mental health and well-being, it is inevitable. We cannot avoid that we will talk about death and dying and suicide. Okay, so if ever this discussion has caused you something or mental health concerns, please inform me right away or get a schedule with our guidance counselor so that your problem will be mended. Okay, matagaan na to remedy in your concerns. Okay, the purpose of this discussion is to educate people, educate you about mental health and well-being. Okay, and part of it is talking about the real problem, which is major depressive disorder. And this is, yeah, I'm telling you, this is a real problem because a lot of students, adolescents are experiencing this. Okay, even me, I was not exempted to this when I was after I graduated college. I'm gonna share it with you later. Now, when we talk about major depressive disorder, it's characterized by hopelessness, lack of energy in their usual activities, cry for unexplained reason, and low self-esteem, and they experience loss of interest in their activities. They cannot make decisions, and they tend to blame and hurt themselves. And that's the worst about major depressive disorder. I'm going to show you the criteria, the diagnostic criteria. Okay, let me remind you again, this is not to diagnose you of any mental health problems or having major depressive disorder, but this will just educate you about this problem. Okay, so if ever you manifest more than five of these symptoms, now you assess yourself, can you still handle it? Because if not, you can always go to the guidance office and ask for help. Okay, it's not bad to seek help. That's the reason why we have professionals who can help you. Okay, because one of the goals here in the university is to protect students from mental health problems. Okay, now in DSM-5, this DSM stands for Diagnostic Statistical Manual. You can take note of this. Diagnostic Statistical Manual. Now we have the 5th version. This is the one I put here. I put here is just version 4. However, there is no difference in terms of diagnostic criteria. Okay, if you experience 5 or more of the following symptoms, and the symptoms are there for 2-week period. Take note of that, 2-week period. While I stop, the continuous here for the 2 weeks and more. Okay, so number 1, depressed mood most of the day. Have you noticed it? I've tried it. I've tried this several times. I've experienced it several times. I wake up early in the morning and I feel bad. I feel low. It's like I'm not happy. It's something like that. So that's depressed mood most of the day. And then when you wake up with that mood, nagpadayon siya until the end of the day. So generally in one day, your mood is too low. Okay? So that's depressed mood most of the day. That's diagnostic criteria number 1. Number 2, diminished interest in all or almost all of the activities of the day. So people with major depressive disorder, they don't like to do their usual things. Okay, maybe before they can follow their schedule, but this time they'll be having difficulty following the schedule because they lost their interest in doing those things, the routinary things that they do. Okay, so they lost that interest. And number 3 is significant weight loss or weight gain, because one of the coping mechanisms or strategies for people with mental health problems is maybe they eat a lot or they eat too little because their way of coping is stress eating. Okay, so they food ang ila ang murag comfort. But for some, they don't like to eat. That's why it's significant. Why is why it is said significant weight loss? Because the change in body is ikanabitang sudden siya, abrupt siya nga change. Okay, so that's significant weight loss. Insomnia or hypersomnia. A lot of people with major depressive disorder are having difficulty sleeping. And for some, if they can sleep, they may want to sleep all day. Why? Because of the diminished interest in doing activities. Okay, so that's it. Maybe a person may be having insomnia or hypersomnia. All right, because most of the time, major depressive disorder comes with anxiety. Okay, so it comorbids with anxiety, major anxiety disorder. Now, number 6, fatigue or loss of energy nearly every day. Kanabitang you always complain na, kapuya, I'm so tired. You always don't have energy. It's like every time you go to school, it's like you're dragging yourself to go to school. Why? Because you don't have that energy anymore. Or the person with major depressive disorder may not have the energy that they used to have. Diba? And number 7, feeling worthless or excessive and inappropriate guilt. If there is something happen that is that they don't want, unpleasant event, most of the time, people with major depressive disorder, they blame themselves. Very high guilt. It's because of me. What do you gamit sa world? Okay, that's what I felt before. Feeling na ko, when I had my, I didn't know that time I had that major depressive disorder because after I graduated college, I felt worthless. Feeling na ko, gamit sa world. Okay, and then every time there is a problem, and I tend to blame myself. So that's what happened. Then number 8, diminished ability to think or concentrate. Just like what I mentioned a while ago, major depressive disorders comes with anxiety. Okay, so there is a possibility that a person with depression, depressive symptoms, they also having difficulty concentrating. So maybe the person will be attending classes, however, dili siya makakoncentrate. So that means this person may be having difficulty understanding the lessons. Okay? Or maybe if this person is talking to someone, dili gid niya mag-grasp what this person is talking because he or she may be thinking different things. Okay? So that is diminished. And number 9, this is actually the worst. Recurrent thoughts of death. A person with major depressive disorder could be thinking about, what if I die? What will happen if I die? When can I die? Somewhat like that. Although although this person is not thinking about killing himself or herself, however, he or she is always thinking about what will happen if I die, or maybe thinking about deaths of other person. Okay. Another is suicidal ideation. That thought that a person wants to end his or her life. Okay. So that's suicidal ideation. Even others are very detailed on how they're going to end their lives. Okay. And suicide attempt. So if you notice, maybe I don't know if you have friends nga you notice nga na mga scars diri sa ilang hand, that's an indicator that they may have suicide attempt or self-harm. Okay, that's one of the indicators that a person may have major depressive disorder. Okay, but the question is, how are you going to handle that? Okay, how are you going to handle that? Are you going to say, okay lang na, just divert your attention? Because if you're going to talk to a person with mental health concerns and you tell a person, ay, okay lang na, just divert your attention. It doesn't work that way because they don't even understand what's going on with them. Are you getting me? You don't even understand why you feel bad when you wake up in the morning. All right, so that's not how easy. So actually, the best way, and not really the best way, but one of the remedies is if you are his or her friend, and your friend is having mental health problem, the fact that you are listening to this person, just listen. You can tell this person, okay, what's going on? You can tell me. If you're ready to share your problem with me, I'm just here to listen to you. Okay, you don't need to give advices. Okay, the fact that you are listening, that's already therapeutic. Okay, and if this person is really having difficulty handling himself or herself, refer the person to a professional. Okay, so refer the person to a professional, or just be there for him or her. But this is one thing that I'm gonna tell you. If your friend has a suicide ideation, suicide attempt, tell kinsa ang iyang closest nga sa family, or refer this person to the guidance office para makuan ang iyang problem. Okay? So muna siyang buhaton. Although the rule is if somebody shares something with you, you're not supposed to share it with anyone. However, if it's talking about suicide ideation, suicide attempt, you need to break that rule. Okay? Because that's one way of protecting this person. All right? Okay. Now, what are the possible reasons why adolescents are experiencing mental health problems? In fact, in the Philippines, in studies here in the Philippines, 10% of the Filipino adolescents aged 15 to 27, they have reported to have suicidal ideations, and 5% of them actually sorted out to end their life. Diba? And according to the study, very basic reason why these adolescents have suicidal ideations is family problems. That's the main reason. Family problems. Diba? What else? What are the other factors associated with depressive symptoms? Number one is frequency of smoking and drinking. So maybe if you are smoking and drinking and you think that that is your kanang escape from the reality, that is not it, because that will actually heighten, or that will increase your depressive symptoms if you drink and you smoke. And that's because of the chemical that's nga naa sa smoke and the chemical nga naa sa alcohol nga modagan sa imong brain, and then it will change the way you think. And then samot na kung mag-withdrawal syndrome, that will increase the depressive symptoms. Okay? So, for people with depressive symptoms, it's not good to drink and smoke. All right? Next, another factor associated with depressive symptoms is if children are away from biological parents. Okay, why? I somehow relate this to the study also conducted here in the Philippines, that if there is lack of parental guidance, parental support, parental communication, parental monitoring, children will likely manifest kanang mga binugoy. So manifest sila mga negative attributes or attitudes. Okay, mas mabarkada sila, mas mag-inom sila, to sort out to smoking. Maybe some will sort out to having kanang early pregnancy. Why? Because they have much time with their friends and they will be having difficulty choosing or kanang mamili sila friends. Because why? Because there is no parental monitoring, walay parental guidance. Okay, walay constant parent communication. So that's the reason why if a child is away from biological parents, maybe this child can have or mas naasa tendency nga naasa depressive symptoms. Okay, but of course right now we have technology that can actually mend that problem, because sa una siguro 2013 mahal pa kayo ang internet connection that time. But now everything is online and you can even do video call, you can call over the phone, okay? So in case you miss the person. But it's different if the parent is there personally, physically close to you, okay? So that's different. But at least if you don't have choice, wala kay other option, so just can maybe use the technology. That's what we can do for now. Another reason is the level of intimacy with peers. Okay, do you agree with me that peers, friends, can really be a good social support? And that is true. However, what is happening right now? Because of this technology, we have gadgets, we have cell phones. Okay? Do you know that these gadgets have actually decreased our level of intimacy with friends? Si kinsa may makarelate here, be. You are with your friends, but actually you are preoccupied with what's going on in your social media account. Huh. I remember the talk of Sherry McTurkle. I forgot. I'm not sure if Sherry. I know her name is Sherry. It's a TED talk. She was talking about connect together but alone. Why? Because although we are with our circle of friends, but we are always checking what's going on with our cell phone. Yes, and that decreases intimacy. That decreases the bond within your friends. Okay? So that's the reason why I hope if you understand this, if you understand the effect of social media, of your mobile phone, checking what's going on in your social media accounts, even if you're talking to your friends, then maybe try to control yourself now. Try to control every time you talk to someone. But for me, Manggod, no? Every time you talk to someone, if you are like this person is sharing something and you are like checking your phone, for me it's very disrespectful. Do you agree with that? Unless na emergency, na you need to attend to that. But if you are just like somebody's talking with you face to face, and then you are like browsing your Facebook account, your Twitter account, or whatever social media accounts you have, that is disrespectful, and that can lessen intimacy. All right. All right. So now, level of intimacy with family. I've already explained this a while ago. Somehow related to if you are away from biological parents. But although a lot of us here, maybe we are with our family, however, still we are preoccupied with our social media accounts. We don't have proper communications. Okay, much better. Okay, siguro maybe you've noticed that relationship is better if you dine together and you talk to each other most of the time. Okay, so that will increase the intimacy level within the family. Okay? All right. Questions so far? If you have questions, just type your question in the chat box or send me a message through my email or Facebook account or Canvas. All right? Now, we'll talk about conduct disorder. This is for children and below 18 years old. Okay? So in Bisaya, conduct disorder is sipat actually in Bisaya. Sipata ni matao eh. That is sipat. But if you are going to go to a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, that will be labeled as conduct disorder. Okay, but when can a child be labeled as a person or a child with conduct disorder? That is when this child likes to violate rules and policies. Okay? If this child likes to violate the basic rights of others, he or she does not care what others feel, just for him or her to get what he or she wants. Okay, so it's like it, and then they like breaking rules and regulations, like mamuslot og ligid sa sakyanan, mag-cutting classes, kay manglaag, inana. Right, so that's conduct disorder. O ka nang mamira lang kalit og buhok. Okay. I don't know if you have experienced that when you were in elementary. Kalitong nakabira imong buhok without reason, without any apparent reason. All right, that's conduct disorder. However, okay, juvenile delinquency is a different thing, although it is somehow related to conduct disorder. But if a minor commits a crime, okay, minor meaning below legal age, below 18 years old, nakakommit of crime, that is called juvenile delinquency. Okay? All right. So I hope you understand that. Now we're going to talk about personality disorders. Okay? According to studies, if conduct disorder is not, wala siya na-address at the early onset of the problem, it may result to personality disorders, So presumably siya nga mo level up ini kadako niya over 18, dili naman na tawag og conduct disorder, it will be called personality disorder. Okay? When can we say that a person has personality disorder? Okay, let's define personality disorder. It is an enduring pattern of inner experience, Enduring meaning, permi siya. Okay? Dili siya ma-stop. End behavior, and that deviates markedly from the expectations of individual's culture. That means it is different from the norm. Okay? Different siya sa norm in this specific culture. All right. Now is pervasive and inflexible, dili siya ma-change. Has an onset in adolescence and early adulthood, is stable over time, and leads to distress or impairment. So that means makadaot siya sa normal nga function instead nga usual niya nga buhaton sa una, dili na siya usually ang iyang gibang buhat na usab na iyang routine, nakausab na sa iyang productivity or somewhat related to that. Okay, so that is personality. Okay, that is personality disorder. One of the examples of personality disorder is called paranoid personality disorder. Okay, so unsa man ang paranoid? Paranoia, fear. Okay, fear. It's the intense fear that somebody might hurt him or her. Okay, dili na niya malikayan nga every time makita siya mga tao talking, maybe bisan paglayo, he or she may think that these people are plotting her death or his death. Okay? Or maybe if a person with paranoid personality disorder, imo siyang itagaan og bottle of water, this person will not drink that bottle of water because he or she is thinking that you may be poisoning him or her. Okay? So that is paranoid personality disorder. Paranoia. Okay? Intense fear. All right? Of that somebody will harm or kill or harm him or her. That's paranoid. Number 2, antisocial personality disorder. I heard a lot from adolescents like you, or a lot of people will say, "Ay, dili ko ganan mo adto because I'm so antisocial." Do you know that antisocial is defined differently? When we say antisocial, that means that you like to disregard or violate rules and policies just to get what you want. That is antisocial personality. If you're referring to you are an introvert and you don't want to mingle with a lot of people, you don't want to be with a lot of people, that is not antisocial, that's asocial. You don't want to be with someone. Okay? That's asocial. Do not use antisocial anymore if you're referring to you being introverted. That is not antisocial, okay? When we say antisocial, if you remember Joker, okay, he wants to get what he wants, regardless of it if it's good or bad. Okay, he likes to violate the rules and the rights of others just to get what he wants. That is antisocial personality disorder. He may harm others just to get what he wants or she wants. That's antisocial. Next, histrionic personality disorder. Now, for histrionic, all right, in based on statistics, antisocial personality is more on men. Okay. However, when we talk about histrionic personality disorder, this happens generally on women. This disorder manifests by individuals who show excessive emotionality and attention-seeking behavior. Kana bitang mukalit-lag hilak just to get the attention of others. Kana mukalit-lag tantrums bisag walay hinungdan just to get the attention maybe of his friend or her friend or boyfriend or girlfriend. That's histrionic personality disorder. All right. Next, narcissistic personality. Narcissistic personality. This exhibits type of disorder, pattern of grandiosity. What's man ang grandiosity? Kana feeling bitaw nga ikaw hawod. You're the best. You're the handsomest. You are the prettiest. When I say grandiosity, feeling nimo there's nothing impossible with you. That's grandiosity. And that is also characterized by self-centeredness and need for admiration is very strong. Kani, sige daw. Kinsa man diri ang ga-post sa social media account, unya mag-heart pa jud, mag-like sa iyang own post. Mag-message pa gid sa mga friends, i-heart akong post be. That's an indicator that you need admiration from others. Okay. Right. But I'm not saying that you have narcissistic personality disorder, no. siguro that's already a red flag. Okay? So, and people with narcissistic personality disorder, they lack empathy. They don't know how to put themselves in the shoes of others. They are having difficulty understanding the needs of others and the feelings of others. That's narcissistic personality. Why? Because these people are self-centered. Okay? They're only thinking about themselves. Are you getting me so far? Next. Avoidant personality disorder. Kani. Evident when individuals show a pattern of social inhibition, feeling of inadequacy, and hypersensitivity to negative evaluation. They prefer to be alone and try to avoid social activities because of their fear of being judged or negatively evaluated by others. Kana. This is very common, no? Dili ka mukuyog sa mga social gatherings because you don't want to be judged. That is avoidant personality. Or the person doesn't want to be judged. That is why dili siya mag-join sa mga social gatherings. Okay? Kasagara pagit sa iyang think na judge is negative na judgment from others. So that's avoidant personality disorder. Now, dependent personality disorder, this one. This is very common. This is gonna be you cannot function without the help of others. That's a person with dependent personality disorder cannot function without the help of others. I'm even wondering if this is somehow related to girls. Like, why do you always ask your friend to go with you in the restroom? Di mo kaihi kung... All right, I'm just kidding. But when we say dependent personality disorder, that means a person cannot function without the help of someone. Okay, even the simplest thing, by just maybe answering the assignment, answering the activities, dili siya maka-function without someone's help. Okay, that's dependent personality disorder. Okay. Next, substance-related disorder. Kabalo na siya naman sa substance, no? A drug is a substance such as alcohol, caffeine, marijuana, amphetamines, inhalants, nicotine, cocaine, and a chemical can alter your biological and psychological functioning. Okay? So what are those substance-related disorders na gitawag og substance abuse and some substance dependence? Okay? Substance use disorder na substance abuse and so may difference. When we say substance abuse, it's the continued use of substance. Okay? Even without proper prescriptions from the doctor. Okay? When we say substance dependence, is that if there is already craving, if there is desire already to use the substance, all right? So that's dependence. You don't need to take the medication, pero you're still taking it because naana kay craving. Okay? So that is substance dependence. Now, napoy gitawag og substance-induced disorder. Okay, so basically intoxication, withdrawal, and various mental states like dementia, psychosis, anxiety, mood disorder. And these are induced by substance. Have you kinsa man diri ang nakasuway nga na intoxicated, nag-inom, nag-withdrawal na. Because of that, naka-experience na siya og mood problem, mood disorder, or anxiety. Okay? So that's why it is substance induced, because it is the substance effect that causes that disorder. Okay? Unsa man kasagara ang disorder? Dementia, psychosis, anxiety, mood disorder. Okay? Siguro ma-think nimo ni sa kanang mga nag-drugs, kanang withdrawal state, they become so moody. Okay? Okay. Now, a while ago we've talked about different mental health problems. Now this is the time maybe we talk about how to deal with that problem. Okay, now let's take a look at Martin Seligman's PERMA-V. PERMA, P-E-R-M-A-V. What I'm going to show you is my personal PERMA-V today. Okay, all right. P, What does it P stands for? P means positive emotions, engagement. E stands for engagement, R for relationships, M for meaning in life, A accomplishment or achievements, V for vitality. Okay? If you check online, the first model of this is PERMA. Wala pa ang V. However, Martin Seligman noticed nga kinahanglan ang vitality di ay gihapon. Okay? I'm going to explain that later on. Now, for positive emotion, this is self-explanatory. What are those different types of positive emotion? We have the hope, pride, amusement, inspiration, the feeling, the awe, love, joy, gratitude, serenity, interest. These are positive emotions. Now, what can give me positive emotion? Especially if I'm with friends. This one, this was during my birthday when they surprised me with cake and yabag happy birthday nga kanta. Okay, it gives me positive emotion every time when I do a morning walk to Padong sa bukid. That provides that gives positive emotion. If I'm with my family, especially during special events, grabe na siya nga positive emotion. And then when my sister told me that she was graduating in college, yes, I felt proud that time. And then every time I play with my pet, okay, with Donny Boy, that's happiness and love and joy. So these are positive emotions. Now, the question is, how often do you experience positive emotion in a day? Okay, so I think you have to start now identifying what can make you happy. What are the things that give you positive emotion? So that's one of your tasks. You are going to list that down, the factors, the things that give you positive emotion. And then next is engagement. Okay, so maybe go out and be part of your community. Okay, so these are the things that make me feel like time seems to stop every time I do this. This one here is online discussion, online classes, and this one here is every time when we sing in a mass or special events like wedding with the choir. And this one here is kani mga side hustle, mga gigs outside. And this is also my commitment with my students, of course, with also you. And this one is also my relationship with my colleagues. All right, so these are the factors that every time I do this, I forget about the time. Okay, so that's engagement. So you need to identify that as well. Unsay maka-busy nimo? What do you normally do that time seems to stop? Okay, so that's engagement. Number 3, relationship. The quality of relationship with the people around. Okay, I'm so proud to show that I have a very good relationship with my family, with my friends, with my choir mates, and my colleagues. Okay, so these are relationships. Okay, so check also who are the people that you are kinsa man ang mga tao nga imong pwede istoryaan every time you have a problem. Okay? Kinsa man ang mga tao nga who are these people around you nga kanang comfortable ka to be with. All right? Next, meaning in life. What contribute that meaning of life? Okay, for me, number 1 is the meaning is my family. Okay? And my belief, my family, of course. Number 1, that's the reason why I keep doing things that I do now. It's because of my family. Next is what gives meaning to my life is the talent that I have. Aside from teaching, napo ko'y gamayng talent in singing, so that gives meaning, and also the relationship I was able to build with my friends, of course, and this kanang mga extracurricular activities, mga voluntary work, that also gives meaning. Aside from that, also of course my relationship with my students. Okay, the fact that I'm able to kanang share good news to my students, that also adds meaning to my life. That's also add meaning. Okay, siguro kung wala ni sila, wala ni siya tanan nga akong gipang-identify, mura siya walay purpose. Okay, so that's it. Next, Achievements. What are the achievements? You also have to identify your achievements, little or big achievements. Okay, if you look up here, this picture, okay, dako na na achievement na ako when I lose weight. Because after pandemic, during pandemic, I weighed 89 kilos. But when pag weigh na ako, nigamay na ning lower down. Oh, I have to celebrate that. Okay? And then during pandemic, I took a course, online course. It's graphic designing. I was able to celebrate that because kanang way how to get something back out. Daghan kay mga negativities that's going on in the world, but you need to find ways on how to cope with that challenges, with those negativities. No? And then the next achievement is that I was able to learn digital marketing. Okay, so that's another achievement. All right, and this one here, the achievement that I've gotten before ko nag-teach when I was in a call center. I competed in Manila for the national level competition for singing contest, and in God's grace, I got the first place. No, not the champion, but the first prize. Okay, first runner up. I mean, okay, but it was national level, so I'm so proud of myself about it. That's another achievement. There are so many things that I can identify in terms of when we talk about achievements. Okay, and you need to identify those even small things as part of your achievement. Now, the vitality, this is what I'm telling you about, that one of the important things is also keeping your body active. Why? Because according to the talk, I forgot the speaker, but if you keep your body active, like having physical activities, neurons in our brains will also activate. Okay? So that's why those who go to the gym, who mag-jogging, mag-walking, they can easily make decisions. Mas clear ang ilang mind. Why? Because they're not only exercising their body, but also their mind. Because their neurons follow the condition of their body. Okay? Also, part of it is eating healthy foods. That's part of vitality. All right? Now, I have just shown you my PERMA V. Now, it's time for you to identify what are your PERMA V. And what is the purpose of this PERMA V? The purpose of this is, if you feel bad, if you feel that if you feel like you are having mental health problems, go back to your PERMA V. What are the things that you normally do that time seems to stop? Remember that. Who are the people you can talk with? You can speak with if you have problems. Okay? Who are your motivators? What gives meaning and purpose to your life? And what gives you positive emotion? Go back to these, and the PERMA V can actually become a new shield from mental health problems. Do you agree with me? You type agree in the chat if you agree with me. Okay? Diba? So, before we end, I'd like to leave you with this quote according to Martin Seligman. Well-being cannot exist just in your own head. It's not only dili sa taman sa ulo. Well-being is a combination of feeling good, if you feel good, and as well as actually having meaning, good relationship, accomplishment, and vitality. Okay? So take note of that. Thank you very much, and please check your canvas for your activities related to our topic today, which is about mental health and well-being among adolescents. Thank you very much.